I really wish you could see how I have my phone rigged up right now. It's like wedged between like the dial of the AC and then above it, the computer thing, like the dial of the volume of the music. It fits super perfectly in there, but it like is too angled up, so I wedged a straw behind it. It looks like a failed attempt at setting up the Mousetrap board game. I just say the thing that everyone experiences, and no matter like how you feel about it, it's always kind of terrible. So I'm at Cane's and I ordered some food, and very unintentionally, you kind of you look at who's in front of you and you look at who's behind you. I swear I don't think okay, this is my place in line, they better come out in this order, because food gets cooked differently. At a place like Cane's, though, they cook 4 things. So it's like 99.99% of the time you're getting your order exactly in the order that you stood in line. So I get the order, blah, blah, blah. I asked for an ice cup. They gave me a water cup. Fine. Not a big deal. People make mistakes. So I don't care about that. But it was just funny like that's the start of it. So I sit down and I'm waiting for my food. And then I notice that the person behind me gets their food. And then I notice that the people that came in after me, like 4 of them, like over the course of like 5 minutes, they get their food. What's funny about it is like I'm not in a hurry at all. I have no place I gotta be. I feel zero rush. So like I'm kind of like debating, like do I say something like I think they missed my order, but also I could just wait. But it's like you can be pretty sure that you're just not going to get your food if you wait, like, because they skipped you. Someone probably took your food, or it didn't get put in the computer right, or whatever happened. And you have this moment of like, well, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be like someone like you guys missed my order. So you make it about yourself, like not wanting to be like a Karen or a Darren of the situation. And I started kind of like laughing about it, because it's like, it's the perfect scenario for me to not care. Like I was like just kind of playing on my phone in zero hurry. And I've been in their shoes where it's like you work at a place and you make a mistake and then the customer's kind of like, oh, like what the fuck? But also when you're in that situation and you make a mistake and the customer's like really nice about it, that almost makes you feel like worse. You're like, oh, like, well, now I really want to help them because they're being so cool about this. And the funny part about it is like you get to be the good guy and the bad guy of the situation, because like you're going to tell them like, hey, like you missed my order. And that's going to give them some sort of feeling, like maybe a little bit of insecurity, like, oh, I messed up in my job or whatever. And that's something that you like want to avoid. Like you don't want to see someone feel that. But then you feel good that you're like, well, at least I'm not one of those people who would like make a big deal out of this, which in actuality, the number of people that I think would make a big deal out of that is, let's say, 1 out of 10. Like I am on no serious moral high ground. I am like with the norm. Most people would just be like, yeah, it's fine, you missed an order. Pretty much everyone who's ever had a job that involves customer service will be like extremely cool in that situation. And and I tell him, I'm like, hey, like I think you skipped me. But then he like tried to give me the wrong order. He was like Dan, right? And it was for there, and I ordered mine to go. I could also just see that it was the wrong order. And there really, at this point in time, there was no box that they could give me, like a to-go box, that I'd be like, yeah, like I would have just taken whatever. Unless it was like a box full of like 9 coleslaws, I would just take the L. It's not even an L, it's more like a T for tie. I would just take the T, but then he goes to the computer and he's fiddling around. He's like, oh yeah, that's right, Dan, yeah, I got you right here. And then he handed it to me. Once again, it's wrong. Like, and I don't fucking care. There's only 3 things on the menu, so it'd be really hard to get it really bad. There's only 1 thing wrong with my order. I'm gonna eat the other 3 things. That's fine. It's also kind of like a little bit of roulette with Cane's, because sometimes you get the bigger chicken tenders and sometimes you get the littler, smaller ones. And I'm cool with both of them, but the ones that I really hate that have too much crust, like it's just like this really gamey crust. And these are all plump and juicy. I'm not trading this for anything. I would pay an extra $1 to pick which chicken tenders I get, to be honest. Like, hey, let me come back there, and there should be like a Cane's Prime membership or something like that. And I don't feel good about the situation. I don't feel bad about the situation. I still feel pretty indifferent. But it's funny, like, going through such a simple interaction that we all have, how many different ways you feel. Because, like, it gives you, like, even though it's small, like, a little bit of anxiety. Like, oh, I didn't make a mistake, but I don't want this person to feel any sort of way. But in actuality, there's nothing I can do to take that away from them except for walk out and spend $13 for no reason, which is, I'm not willing to spend $13 to make someone not feel slightly anxious at their job. I think that's the other thing. Like, if you've ever had a job where you work with customers and you can put yourself in their shoes, you know how simple it is to have one interaction kind of change the next 15 minutes of your day. And 15 minutes of your day is a long time when you're at work. So it just makes it really easy to pull your punches when you're dealing with people at their job. That's always why, like, I've always been really kind to security guards. Even when they come in like a little hot, I'm just like, okay, well, I got to remember that this guy's clocked in. He doesn't want to be here any more than I don't want him to be here. It's when they start like threatening and being a little violent that I'm like, okay, fuck this dude. This guy sucks. And I remember being younger, like being a little bit more of a stickler of like, I don't like it when people mess up my order. No one does. I think people think, oh, well, this job's like an easy job to do. It's an entry-level job. But in actuality, in my personal experience, every job that I've had that was entry-level is always way harder than the jobs that I worked my way up to the next level. Maybe less stressful for sure, but like, dude, digging ditches is tough. Like, it's one of the harder jobs you can have. I'm not saying being a cashier is like the hardest job in the world, but it's definitely harder than a lot of like jobs where like I sit on computers or like do like a delivery job or something like that, being a cashier kind of sucks. And that 100% revolves around the fact that 1 out of 10 people, in my opinion, kind of suck. You work at a grocery store and you deal with 100 people on your shift. That's 10 sucky people every day. That is 10 more sucky people than anyone would want to deal with every day. But what I'm saying is, tip your landlords. Thanks for watching my stupid little rant.